guys, it's TEW2016 Maxwell here and welcome to episode 46 of TNA, Making an Impact, our final show of 2016 in-game, and we're in the middle of the build-up of course to TNA Genesis, which will be in the second week of January. So last week we started with 8, this week we are down to 4, it is the semi-finals. Next week on the first show of 2017 we'll have the final of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship #1 Contender Series, the winner to face Fergal Devitt for the title at Genesis. So 14 segments today, again 2 big matches for the semi-finals, a long match for our opener, getting a couple of feuds over, and we also have a bit of a debut as well. So we'll crack on it. Hope you guys enjoy the show and hopefully we can finish the year on a high. So here we go, it's TNA Making an Impact. Let's go. So sold out 5,000 at the Commercia, we'll go with that, Fira. And that's good to see. We're expected at 4,900 odd. We sold out the 5,000 allocation, so that's great. And we start off our match. And in a decent matchup, it was Fergal Devitt and Beer Money, who defeated MVP in the Decay in 14:21, and Bobby Roode defeated MVP with the payoff. Solid C's plus 70 to start the show. So it's good to see. Abyss was off his game. Rosemary did some good work at ringside. He got the show off to a strong start. And he got the crowd hotter. With Fergal Devitt looking really good out there. He did an 83 in-ring performance. Bobby Roode did a 77. In contrast to that, we had James Storm with a 47. MVP with a 54. Crazy Steve with a 44. And Abyss with a 62. So clear to see that Devitt and Roode certainly carried that match. Bobby Roode improved his performance skills. Overall a decent opener that had a lot of negatives, more so because of Abyss and James Storm. Not as many for Crazy Steve this week, so that's good. He's slowly but surely progressing. Next up in a second matchup of the night, and about that had some decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat, we had the team of Phoenix and Ricochet defeat Kenny Omega and Trevor Lee in 9:31 when Trevor Lee was defeated by Ricochet via a standing shooting star press. A D plus 52 is okay. Unfortunately, Phoenix and Ricochet have absolutely zero chemistry as tag team partners. Ricochet with a 43 performance, a 48 for Phoenix, 51 for Trevor Lee, and the champ Kenny Omega with 52. It continues the X Division storyline. There are no skill improvements in this instance, and your only negative was the tag chemistry between Ricochet and Phoenix. Moving on, and about the terrible wrestling and non-existent crowd heat, we had Ali defeat Rosemary in 4:33 by pinfall, a sit-out facebuster. A D minus 36 here, again building her up. She get the 33 performance, followed by Rosemary's 31. There were no skill improvements in this instance. Negatives, both ladies' inconsistency and holding back. After this, we finally get an angle. Ali picks up the win with a much more convincing victory over Rosemary. She wins clean. However, from out of nowhere, a hooded figure appears in the ring and nails Ali with a cradle DDT. This person pulls their hood down to reveal themselves as the hottest free agent in the world of women's professional wrestling, Brittany Knight. She stands up and then she mocks the crowd. I don't know why I've written cross there. She mocks the crowd by saying, "This is my house now." Has this been set up by Sienna? So basically, as you saw last week, the chance to bring in former page Brittany Knight too good to turn down. It's someone who's young enough to carry this division. I feel like the women's division, the knockouts division, needs a bit more depth. It needs a bit more quality. You've got someone like this available, you've got to snap them up. I know it's so much for me not bringing people in, like I said, but the women's division is one I want to really build, and I feel like the current knockouts division is building itself in real life, but they just don't have enough over people, and I need a bit of quality in there as well. So Brittany's the first, with a young Australian lassie in as well, young female wrestler, Jessica something. She just looked to have very good attributes. She's young enough, and potentially more to come as well. So we'll see there. But an E plus 35, Brittany debuts her mysterious gimmick, which got an above average rating. progressed the storyline, but it lost heat. But a good debut for her, nonetheless. But then backstage with Carly as she rushes to find Sienna. What the hell was that? Who the hell do you think you are getting people to come in here and do your dirty work? Sienna replies with, Carly, as much as I enjoyed Brittany's demolition of Ali, she was nothing to do with me. I like what she's done and I'm all for it, but as far as her being here, I have nothing to do with that. So a D42, the question is, who the hell did? Who was the reasoning for Britannia Knight coming in and debuting here in TNA Impact Wrestling? Next up and about, they had some subpar wrestling and little heat. Mike Bennett defeated Mandrews in 6:35 with a photo finish. This got a D+48. Mandrews with a 30, Mike Bennett with the 53. A good win for the Miracle, gaining him some momentum. A few negatives there from Mandrews, but he's officially an enhancement talent for us, and a good win for the Miracle. After the matchup, Mike Bennett obviously scoring the easy victory over Mandrews, and Cage gets in the ring as well, and he then hits Mandrews with the drill claw just to prove a point. Bennett gets a mic and says, Lashley, well done, buddy. What a great win last week, and that puts you into the semi-finals of the TNA World Heavyweight Championship #1 Contender Tournament. Best of luck tonight against Magnus, and just remember, when you do become champion, myself and Cage will be right after you. So everyone in TNA, take notice of what you've just witnessed tonight, because this is your future TNA World Heavyweight Champion. So a D47, another warning from Bennett. He's got Cage with him. Cage is getting better. His gimmick got the crowd hotter, and the Miracle Machine Destroyer storyline advanced and started with this segment. Negatives, just the chemistry, motivation of Brian Cage, but overall pretty decent. Next up in a match that had some decent wrestling but didn't have much heat, the former tag team champions, the BC, defeated the Broman in 9:26 when Matt Jackson defeated Jesse by pinfall with a moonsault. Simple matchup to gain them some momentum. A C61's an okay result of that. Robbie with 34, Jesse with 32, Nick Jackson 71, Matt Jackson 69. There were no skill improvements to speak of here, but it's a good win and a lot of negatives. Inconsistency for both of the Jacksons and just horrible from Jesse. The more and more we go on in the save, it looks like he's probably just going to get released, I think, when his contract expires. Next up, in an extremely short matchup, we had Shibata defeat Tigre in 4:33 by pinfall. C+70, the national champ, goes over pretty clean, pretty simple. You come out of it looking really good, that's what you want. Tigre with 30 and Shibata with 74 performance. There were no skill improvements in this instance, and the only negative was Tigre and his momentum. But then with Bobby Lashley, who is standing by being interviewed by JB. JB says, Bobby, what are your thoughts going into this semi-final matchup with Magnus? Lashley says, I feel good, man. I feel like I have what it takes to defeat a solid competitor in Magnus, and then to go on to the final, win it, and become the new #1 contender for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. JB says, Bobby, I've got to ask, what are your thoughts on the recent actions and comments by the Miracle Mike Bennett and the man they call Cage? Lashley says, it makes me laugh. Their time will come. I could go on and get my revenge for Final Resolution right now, but I've got a TNA World Heavyweight Championship in my sights, and that's the primary target. So a good B-72 promo, continues the Machine the Miracle Destroyer storyline, which gained heat, and just overall pleasing. Few negatives. The match itself had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, and it saw Bobby Lashley defeat Magnus in 15:22 by pinfall via a chokeslam. B-74, Lashley advances into the final. Bobby Lashley with a 70 and Magnus with 64. Magnus improves technical skills as a result of this. Negatives, none. So overall, a fairly successful co-main event. Next up, we're with Chris Jericho, who's with JB. JB says, so Chris, you're now onto the semi-final of the tournament. You have a very dangerous opponent in EC3. Are you confident? Jericho says, of course I'm confident, Jim. I'm the best in the world at what I do. I'm one of the greatest wrestlers alive today. Well, EC3 may be the best in the world at what he does, which is, of course, talk garbage. He's talented, no doubt, but when it comes to the elite of the elite, does EC3 have what it takes? I don't think so. It doesn't have that one thing. It. So a solid promo for Jericho going into his matchup with EC3, and that gets an A90 rating. Only negative, being short. And the matchup was exceptional, and EC3 defeats Chris Jericho in 1916 by pinfall with a handful of the tights. So a B-75, the whole thing with EC3's gimmick, which I'm still to sort. Jericho with 78, EC3 with 77. Performance, no skill improvements. We had to make Jericho look strong just to put EC3 over, but that's why Jericho's here, to give these guys the kind of rub and put them over. Negatives, stamina, booking decisions, inconsistency, but Jericho's going to be a steady hand regardless. So it means we've got Lashley versus EC3 for the #1 contendership next week. And we finished the show. EC3 steals the win over Chris Jericho. What an upset. Now it's going to be EC3 versus Lashley for the right to face Fergal Devitt at TNA Genesis. EC3 rolls out the ring and slowly stumbles up the ramp. He turns his head back, but Lashley walks out behind him. They have a minute stare down before EC3 backs down and walks by the production team in order to avoid conflict. Next week, on the first edition of TNA Impact in 2017, is Bobby Lashley as EC3, and the winner faces Fergal Devitt at TNA Genesis. So a C+67 to finish the show. Last segment of the year, not the greatest. And we finish with a B-75, which increases our popularity again in 18 regions. So again, all positive there. Maybe not the greatest show in the world. I feel we could have made a bit better. But job done. We've got our main event set up for next week. And a couple of storylines that are developing. So overall, pretty happy with how this is working out. And yeah, we increased the pop. That's all we can keep doing on a weekly basis. And hopefully get more over and over. So look here and see if there's anything. Rampage Brown is going to sign a new contract. I wonder if he's going to go over every wrestler in GW. Apart from that, everyone was happy with the show. It's drawn a lot of praise. And they get a 2.54. It's its TV rating. But apart from that, it's all going well. Good money in the bank. Prestige is decent. Momentum continues to gain. The industry continues to get improvement. And it continues to get us more and more over. So not really much to add. As I say, next week we'll have EC3 versus Bobby Lashley for the right to face Devitt at Genesis. Our next video is actually going to be the roundup of the top 500. We'll have a quick look over everyone's overness and just really looking to see where we are going in to 2017. So as always, thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the episode, please leave a wee thumbs up. If you could share it, it'd be deeply appreciated as well. Any subscriptions, as always, are deeply appreciated, so these will drop in your sub box every time they're released. It's the same usual schedule, so usually every Friday and every Tuesday you'll get TNA, and depending where we are in the series, it'll be every either Monday, Wednesday or Friday during the Grand Prix for WWE, or every Sunday when we're back to pay-per-views. This is always, thanks for watching. If you want to get involved in TW, there's a couple of places to advertise down below, Fantasy Bookers and the Grey Dog Software Forums, best places I would recommend. And if you get any questions on how to get started, leave them in the comments section below. I'll try and get back to them when I can. As always, guys, thanks for watching, deeply appreciated, and hope I'll see you next time for the roundup, the the TWPW Awards. Bye bye.